Summary of the interpretation of verse 45 of Surah Al-Imran. Before interpreting this verse, we must first understand that God Almighty prepared Maryam for a momentous event, one of the most difficult experiences a woman can face, giving birth without being touched by a man, and without a father. How would she face people and gain their trust? Because she was a believer, she was prepared for this event through these preparations. Firstly, God Almighty prepared her with faith, instilling in her the belief that she would be among the righteous. This was revealed when God inspired the wife of Imran to dedicate her child to God, and it was a girl. Maryam, peace be upon her. This was God Almighty's choice for Maryam, and she was raised to worship Him. Then, God Almighty prepared her a second time. When she witnessed God's provision of diverse food, she confidently and faithfully told Zechariah, when he asked her about this provision, that it was from God, and that God provides for whomever He wills without measure. The third preparation. Then, she witnessed the boundless power of God Almighty when she heard the story of Zechariah's supplication to his Lord. With righteous offspring, and God blessed him with Yahya, even though Zechariah's wife was barren and he was an old man. Yet God answered his prayer despite the apparent difficulty of procreation. This is the boundless power of God, who does as He wills. All of this prepared her to receive the new event, God's glad tidings to her through a word from Him. The meaning of a word from Him is that God, the Exalted, exercises His dominion in His kingdom through His word, not through physical means. Continuing our interpretation of verse 45, the verse clarifies that everything is by the will of God. God, the Exalted, has taught us that He creates whatever He wills, and when He wills something, He says to it, "Be," and it is. The word "be" is a means of bringing God closer to us so that humanity can understand Him. For there is nothing more concise than the word "be." His power, in its fluency, could precede our utterance of the letter Kaf, the first letter of "be," but God Almighty explains it to us in the simplest way, in the manner of humankind. "Be" is merely the manifestation of the command to creation. Thus, we understand the meaning of, by a word from Him. The general understanding of the verse. God Almighty commanded the angels to give Maryam the glad tidings of a child, who would come by a word from God, which is the word "be." The child came, and God Almighty named him the Messiah, Isa, son of Maryam, and that he would have a high status and position in this world and the hereafter, and would be among those closest to God on the day of resurrection.